Today we're continuing with Unit 6, Safety at Work. This is Lesson 2. Um, we're going to start with where we left off last time. So let's go to page 113. Here we have a grammar point. This is interesting here. The use of have to and has to. We use have to and has to show that an action is necessary or that it is not necessary. Okay? So you can say, I have to wear an ID badge at my work, or you can say, I don't have to wear an ID badge. So it's a structure in the present perfect, in the simple present, sorry. This is simple present, you see, but the only thing is that you use have to or don't have to plus the infinitive here or the base form. It doesn't change. You see, he, she, it, the verb doesn't change. You're using doesn't. And then base form here to attend staff meetings. If it is third person singular, of course, you always use has. But this time you have to or you has to or she has to. Now, so let's see if you understood. For example, here you can say you have to complete the sentence about your class. It says arrive to class on time. Do you have to arrive to class on time? Yes. So I have to arrive to class on time. That means it is necessary to arrive to class on time. So you have to use have to. This combination, have to or has to in affirmative. So let's do all the others, and then we will see this when we get back to our live class online, okay? Let's move on to exercise B. In exercise B, you're gonna work with a pattern. That's also gonna be seen when we get back to our live class. You're gonna work with a partner and talk about the rules and regulations in a hospital using has to, have to, doesn't have to, or don't have to. For instance, number 1, a nurse has to wear an ID badge at all times. Okay? So prepare, complete these sentences, put these sentences the way it should be. And then when we are back in our live class, we're gonna work in pairs, all right? So next activity is on page 114. Pay close attention to this one because your written task is about this one. So the written assignment is going to be about this and something that is coming up next. So this is going to be a listening activity. Inspection at the factory. Now, take a close look at the picture and see what's happening. Okay, so what's everybody doing? Pay close attention to that. You see their names here. Some names are blank. You see, blank, blank here. So these names, you're gonna write these names here, their names here as you listen, okay? Now, you're gonna listen and write the names of these employees in the picture in exercise A, in the blank spaces that I just highlighted. These are the names: Mr. Brooks, Victor, Carmen, Anna, Frank, Luis, and Vladimir. Okay? So let's listen and put the names in the correct place. Here we go.
It's a very hot summer day. The factory is very busy. Today is a bad day for the factory and for the manager. The manager, Mr. Brooks, is listening to the inspector, Mr. DeMauro. There are many problems in the factory. Mr. DeMauro has a long list of safety violations. Victor is smoking in a non-smoking area. Vladimir's carrying a heavy box. He isn't wearing work boots. He's wearing sandals. Gloria and Anna are working in the cafeteria. Gloria is wearing a hairnet, but Anna isn't. Anna is wearing gloves, but Gloria isn't. Joseph and Frank are working in the hard hat area, but they aren't following the factory safety rules. They aren't wearing their hard hats. Louise is 6 months pregnant and she is still standing. She's tired. She needs to sit down. Carlos and Carmen are working together. Carlos is wearing safety glasses, but Carmen isn't. Finally, the fire door is open. Mr. Brooks looks very upset. He will have to pay a big fine.
Okay. If you couldn't um, find the names of these people, play it again until you find it. Then pause the video and I'll show you the answers. Okay, so here we are. These are the names of these people here. Now, let's move on to exercise C. In exercise C, you're going to listen again and circle the answers. You have more on the next page, on page 115, you have all the other questions. All right, so let's listen. I'm going to play it again, and you answer the questions. Here we go.
It's a very hot summer day. The factory is very busy. Today is a bad day for the factory and for the manager. The manager, Mr. Brooks, is listening to the inspector, Mr. DeMauro. There are many problems in the factory. Mr. DeMauro has a long list of safety violations. Victor is smoking in a non-smoking area. Vladimir's carrying a heavy box. He isn't wearing work boots. He's wearing sandals. Gloria and Anna are working in the cafeteria. Gloria is wearing a hairnet, but Anna isn't. Anna is wearing gloves, but Gloria isn't. Joseph and Frank are working in the hard hat area, but they aren't following the factory safety rules. They aren't wearing their hard hats. Louise is 6 months pregnant and she is still standing. She's tired. She needs to sit down. Carlos and Carmen are working together. Carlos is wearing safety glasses, but Carmen isn't. Finally, the fire door is open. Mr. Brooks looks very upset. He will have to pay a big fine.
Okay, so you complete that one all the way until 8. I will again play the audio again if you have any, if you missed one, and pause the video so I can show you the answers. Here we go. Okay. So now we're going to do exercise D. In exercise D, based on the story we just heard, you have to complete these sentences. Note that some are negative. Some of them are negative. Be careful, right? You may use some words more than once. And so here are some words that you may want to use. For example, Gloria is wearing a hairnet. That's what they said. Now, what about Victor? What is Victor doing? So, Carmen. Um, okay, just complete that with the present continuous in affirmative or negative sentences. Pause the video, do the activity, and we'll see you back with the answers. Okay, so let's go and check the answers. Here they are. All right. So these ones, you can answer them here before we do it in class. So you're expected to do this before we go to class. So answer these questions, pause the video, answer the questions based on the story, and then we'll discuss that in class. Okay? All right, turn to page 118. This is something you're gonna do for your assignment, for your writing assignment, okay? This is called changes at the factory. You're gonna look at the picture and talk about these employees. So what is the difference from the picture on page 114? So what has changed since the inspection? Okay, so many things have changed, right? So using the information that you know from the listening, you're going to write about the changes in the factory after the inspection. So you're writing like this: changes at the factory. Today is a good day at the factory. Everyone is following the safety rules, period. Then you write another paragraph with details of how people are following the safety rules. Okay? And that's pretty much it. Okay, so something here about the title. It should be centered. Okay, like changes at the factory, centered. The main, just capitalize the words in the title. Do not capitalize prepositions and articles, just the main words like changes and factory. Okay. All right. So we are going to continue with the present continuous. So you can do this activity, the writing, as homework. Okay, it's going to be your assignment. I can explain it when we get back to our live class. Now, let's go to page 122. Here, I'm going to show you some more vocabulary so you can understand the listenings and the vocabulary. But what I'm focusing on now is questions in the present continuous tense, right? So here's some words or some vocabulary relating to working at a restaurant. So carry, cook, eat, greet, make, order, pay, pour, serve, talk to, wipe, and wear. Now, how do we complete these sentences? So find the meaning of these words, the ones you don't know, in the dictionary or on the internet, and then do exercise B. In exercise B, you have to complete the sentences using present continuous. For example, good morning. The manager is saying good morning to the customers, right? So what is the manager doing? The manager is greeting customers. Now you have like 11 more questions there, more vocabulary words or expressions. So pause the video and complete the exercise. All right, let's check the answers. Here we are, and here are the answers. All right, now let's turn to page 123. We have some other words here. This vocabulary here is not exactly intended to go in the exam. This is not going to go to the exam, but you're going to need that for the exercises or so. Let's focus on this. Let's listen and repeat these words.
Cash register.
Cashier.
Counter.
Customers.
Inline.
Menu.
Now let's do exercise D. In exercise D, you have to complete the sentences about the restaurant in the photo. So use verbs in the box, okay? So in this photo, you have to use this photo to answer the questions, okay? Now, when you're done, for example, 3 customers are waiting in line. Do all the others. Here are some verbs. And then when we get back, we'll see the answers, all right? All right, time to see the answers. Here they are. All right. So turn to page 124. This verb here, because we learned it before, but this verb here, it's like when you empty a liquid into another recipient. So you pour coffee, you pour juice, you pour water, maybe tea. And then you greet customers, employees, friends, people, neighbors, you say hello to people, then you greet people. Now match each verb with the correct noun. For example, pour. What do you pour? Coffee. Then you wipe, mop, wait, greet, wash, pay, wear, carry, and serve. Now, let's do exercise B, and then when we finish A and B, we will see the answers to both activities. Here, cross out the word or phrase that does not belong in each group. For example, wash, wipe, and mop, they are related to cleaning, right? So pay has nothing to do with the other verbs. So just cross it out. All right, so let's pause the video. When we get back, we will see the answer to exercise A and exercise B. Okay, Now we're back, and here are the answers for exercise A. Okay. And now let's check the answers to exercise B. Okay, yes. Now here's some more training. This is present continuous yes or no questions. For yes, no questions, we're gonna listen to. I mean, we're just gonna watch these. Look at these picture, see what everybody's doing, and then answer the questions based on the picture. For example, is Jane working today? Where is Jane? This is Jane here. Is she working today? Yes, she is. And then you continue, and we'll see the answers when you get back. All right. Okay, now let's check the answers. And here they are. Okay. Let's do exercise B. Write 5 more questions about the picture. Ask and answer the questions with the partner. The answers we're going to be done in class. So is Nicholas, so you create anything. Remember, after this, you're going to use the verb with ing. Okay. Is Mr. Lopez, are Jane and Nicholas, and then you write 2 more questions. So how do we form the yes, no questions? Well, simple as this one here. You will see how to form these questions on the next page. Look, you start with the verb be, is or are, the subject, Jane in this case, or Jane and Nicholas, and then the verb with ing. So there is an inversion. Instead of Jane is working, you say, is Jane working? Or instead of Jane and Nicholas are working, you say, are Jane and Nicholas working? So you invert the order for these questions, okay? Okay, so let's do this one here. Look at the picture above, which is pretty much the same. Complete the questions with words from the box, then answer the questions with a partner. Okay, so here are the questions. Pause the video before I show you the answers. Okay, here are the answers. Okay. Six and 7 are here. Okay, now we are moving on to the WH questions on page 127. We formed the WH questions similar to, the yes, no questions. There is an inversion, but you start with the question phrase. What, where, when, why, how many eggs. The verb be, the subject, and the verb with ing. Okay? So remember, it's important to use the verb be and the ing form of the verb. Or if you're asking about the subject with who, you say, who is eating? Who is eating? So you use is, not are. Always is, as if it is third person singular. Okay, now here we have a listening activity. So decaf means decaffeinated coffee. It means no caffeine or little caffeine in the coffee, right? So listen and complete the questions. So you have to complete the questions with what, where, when, why, how many, whatever. And of course, if you have the answers here, you have an idea what the questions are. All right, so let's listen.
One, what are they eating?
2. What is Mary eating?
3, where are they having breakfast?
4. What is Vera drinking?
5, how many donuts is Vera eating?
6. Who is drinking coffee?
7, what kind of coffee is Patricia drinking?
8. Why are they smiling?
Okay, if you need to hear it again, just play it again. Go back and play it. If not, just pause the video and answer the questions. Okay, so here are the answers. All right. So, okay, so let me see. Okay, let's turn to page 128. Here on 128, you're gonna put the words in the correct order to make questions. Okay, then ask and answer questions with a pattern. Now, who sitting is next to you? So you say, who is sitting next to you? You have another who question here. You have a what question here. Why, what, who, where, and who here. Okay, so put the words in the correct order, and then we'll see the answers. Okay, so now we're here. Let's check. Number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, and number 8. All right, now it's your turn to create the sentences based on this story. Read the story, then complete the questions. There is a Teresa here, is a cashier at Coffee to Go. Then there's a story. You're gonna create the questions here about Teresa based on the answers you get. For example, at Coffee to Go. So where? And then you say the question is at Coffee to Go. So where is Teresa working? At Coffee to Go. So pause the video, do the activity, and then I'll show you the answers. Here we are, and here are the answers. Okie dokie. Now, let's do the same. This time is about this picture. Page 129. You're going to complete the questions about the people at this restaurant here. For example, what? And then they say they are having lunch together. So what are they doing? How many friends? Whatever this, it says 4 friends are eating together. So what can be the question here? And so on and so forth. Please do the activity before I show you the answers. Pause the video and work. All right, so here we are. I'm gonna show you the answers. Bam. All right, so now that you have seen the answers, we're ready to move on to the next activity, which is a listening activity. So turn to page 132, Coffee to Go. Okay, so you're gonna listen and label the people in the picture. Label the people in the picture. That means you're gonna write the names of the people in the picture in these white boxes here, okay? Based on the story. So take a close look at the picture before I play it. Here are the names: Harry, Jess, Kate, Mary, Mesa Lopez, Patricia, Pete, Scott, Sherry, and Vera. All right, so here we go.
It's early in the morning at Coffee to Go. Kate is working behind the counter. She's at the cash register. She's taking an order. She's tired because she's working overtime again. Sherry is standing in front of the counter. She is buying some coffee. She is on her way to work. Pete is another employee behind the counter. He's pouring a large coffee. Jess is standing behind Sherry. He always orders the same thing, a large coffee and 2 donuts. He is giving his order to Kate, but Pete is already pouring Jess a large coffee. Jess comes to Coffee to Go every weekday before work. His office is across the street. Standing at the table is Mr. Lopez. He's putting sugar in his coffee. He likes his coffee dark and sweet. Sitting at a table are 3 regular customers, Mary, Vera, and Patricia. They are senior citizens and they visit Coffee to Go 3 times a week after they take a walk in the park. They like to have breakfast together after their walk. Mary is drinking a cup of tea and eating eggs and a bagel. Vera is eating 2 donuts and drinking some orange juice. Patricia is eating yogurt and fruit and is drinking a cup of decaf coffee. They're talking and enjoying their breakfast. It's a good morning for them, but it's not a good morning for Scott. He is a hard worker, but he was late again. Harry, his manager, is talking to him. Scott is wiping a table and listening to Harry. Harry is angry. He is telling Scott that he must not be late again. Harry is asking Scott to stay late today.
Okay, so let me go here. Okay, so I'll show you the answers right now. Pause the video, play it again if you need to, and then I'll show you the answers in a moment. All right, so here's the answer. Here are the answers, the labels. Okay, so you're done. Now we're doing exercise C on page 133. Again, this exercise 3 is based on the story. Fill in the question words. For example, you have the answer Pete and Kate are. So who is who? The answer should be who, right? Because the answer is people. Who is working behind the counter? Pete and Kate are. Now the answer is she's working. So what should be the question word here or phrase? Now pause the video, do this activity, and then you'll see the answers in a few moments. And here we are with the answers. Alrighty. Moving on to exercise D. You listen and answer the questions. Okay, so you listen. Is Kate working overtime? You pay attention to what the audio is saying, and then you say, yes, she is. Yes, she is. No, she isn't. If it's a man, you say, yes, he is. No, he isn't. If it is a thing or something, you say, yes, it is, or no, it isn't. If it is a simple present question, you say, yes, she does, or no, she doesn't. If it is a woman, if it is a man, you say, yes, he does, or no, he doesn't. Okay? So let me play the audio and answer the questions.
It's early in the morning at Coffee to Go. Kate is working behind the counter. She's at the cash register. She's taking an order. She's tired because she's working overtime again. Sherry is standing in front of the counter. She is buying some coffee. She is on her way to work. Pete is another employee behind the counter. He's pouring a large coffee. Jess is standing behind Sherry. He always orders the same thing, a large coffee and 2 donuts. He is giving his order to Kate, but Pete is already pouring Jess a large coffee. Jess comes to Coffee to Go every weekday before work. His office is across the street. Standing at the table is Mr. Lopez. He's putting sugar in his coffee. He likes his coffee dark and sweet. Sitting at a table are 3 regular customers, Mary, Vera, and Patricia. They are senior citizens and they visit Coffee to Go 3 times a week after they take a walk in the park. They like to have breakfast together after their walk. Mary is drinking a cup of tea and eating eggs and a bagel. Vera is eating 2 donuts and drinking some orange juice. Patricia is eating yogurt and fruit and is drinking a cup of decaf coffee. They're talking and enjoying their breakfast. It's a good morning for them, but it's not a good morning for Scott. He is a hard worker, but he was late again. Harry, his manager, is talking to him. Scott is wiping a table and listening to Harry. Harry is angry. He is telling Scott that he must not be late again. Harry is asking Scott to stay late today.
Okay. Play the video again if you need to, the audio again if you need to, and then we'll see the answers right after, okay? Here are the answers. All right. So as a final activity, I just want to summarize the present continuous tense by going to 126 and then going here. So if you go to page 247 in your book, you will see this summary of the present continuous. So for the present continuous, you have the yes-no questions here, how to form the yes-no questions and the short answers. You have the WH questions or information questions, how to form them, and then the answers, okay? So that concludes lesson number 2 of this unit 7. We'll see you in our live class, okay?